Welcome to the Ripple Effect podcast. I'm your host, Chiara, aka Cheech.
And I'm your host, Issa, aka Nibby.
We wanted to take a moment to let you get to know us a little better as your hosts, tell you a little bit of why we started this project, and details about what you can expect from the podcast in its structure and topics. So let's dive in.
We started this project. It was born out of injustice, and that story lives in episode 0. You can listen to it there. Our prequel, all that juicy information is in there. But what we want to tell you in this trailer is that we really did start this to have a healthy outlet for ourselves so that we could explore change and grow alongside this creative project. We've learned so much in our own personal journeys. We have dedicated time and money and energy to exploring change in our own lives. Our hope is that we can share our findings, our experience, our strength, our tactical advice, and research-backed information so that the learning curve is less for all of us, because we want to create a movement and a shift that can positively affect one another, and then from there have a ripple of change go out into the world.
Well said. And we felt like it was important for you to know who is talking. This is Chiara, Cheech, and what our backgrounds are, where we come from, what our perspectives are, so you can know what we're going to share and how we're going to overlay that over our topics.
And just overall, why you want to listen to us.
We hope. I'll start. I'm Chiara, and I know that change has been a lifelong interest of mine. And so having a podcast rather about change really was a perfect fit for me because it's something I was already doing. Having deep convos to understand myself better and listening to Issa understand herself better and listening to a larger community, my friends, reading books, watching society to understand how it works and my place in it so I can apply that wisdom and reach out for more support and gain that benefit. And with that though, I bring the background of everything I've gone through and all my interests as a framework for how to share and the lenses that I would apply to any information that I receive or that I give out. And so for me, my background comes from sports. I was raised in sports, so that's how my brain works. It's going to come in as a lens of how I view the world through metaphor or through relationship for sure. The other part that I just geek out about is art, technology, and science. And I do think the interweave of those three spell out a clear development of humanity. And I'm really excited to dive into different topics and relate them to these different areas. I know I said science, but I also wanted to make a note here that for me, science and spirituality are much more connected than I think I hear people talk about because they're both things that bring answers, but really open up to more questions. And finding the solace in those questions is where I find that they connect. And I'm happy to keep exploring that to see how it can benefit others. And I know I mentioned art earlier, but I will come back to it because I have a background in art and design. I have 2 degrees in interior design and art history. And while I don't use those actively anymore, they really did lay the foundation for the way that I think and perceive the world. As a designer, I'm really eager to look at problems and solve them. And I happily welcome problems. Maybe not always happily in my personal life, but most of the time I try to look at things as challenges and things that I can grow from. And collaborating with others to solve problems is a crossover that art and design both have in my life. I also have a background as an actor and a producer. And so if anyone who is one of those, know it's all about solving problems. And those are the areas that I want to bring to this podcast and to help shape how we can help ourselves and our community. And the last thing I want to share about me is I have a deep fascination for operations and systems, just how things work and what they look like inside, from the human to how you organize your Google Drive to how society organizes and evolves at large, and how an organism of any size can evolve and change. And I'm really excited to explore that on this podcast with all of you.
Thanks, Cheech. That's wonderful. I'm Issa, aka Nibby. You'll be hearing my voice as the other co host to this podcast. I am a health and wellness enthusiast. I love learning, period. I'm incredibly passionate about self exploration and personal involvement. I work those concepts in my life every day. I love interacting with the world that we live in, and I love gaining knowledge, and I love sharing that knowledge. I love learning about the human body. When I got my certification to coach habit based nutrition, that's when I really found that I have a fascination that is unquenched when it comes to learning about the human body and what we're capable of and what is going on internally. Since then, that same passion has been enlivened with studying neurobiology. I'm currently a psychology student, so my life consists of a lot of homework and tests and learning new information, which is perfect for this podcast. Psychology, it just stimulates my cognitive curiosity. I think it's so powerful and how helpful it can be, because we all have these amazing minds and brains that are just super helpful and super not helpful at different times. And being able to hack the tools for that, to be able to utilize your own mind to not work against you, I think is a powerful tool that psychology holds. So I really, really enjoy learning about humans and all of their structures, from the brain to the body to the spirit. I'm really curious about us as humans. And then I'm also curious about our involvement as a species and what we're doing now and what we can do for future generations and for our planet, and constantly considering why things are the way they are and how they can be different. I also have a degree in business, so I too am fascinated by systems and economics and politics, but I won't be bringing too much of that to the podcast. I think for this podcast centered around change, my lenses that I look through when I explore change are definitely through relationships, through internal exploration, and the external. So, things like nature and gardening and health of a human and spirituality and ancient knowledge. And I learned so much from nature. And that feels like much more of a spiritual connection and a slow lesson to be learned. A lot of observation and patience involved in that. I think nature has a lot to teach all of us. I'm a California naturalist, so I dig nature. I dig nature, the planet, sustainability. I'm multi-passionate, and you'll learn that about me. I'm a model. I'm a coach. I'm a landlord. I have Airbnbs. I've done a lot and I do a lot. And I am really happy to have all of that come together in this platform, because all of those things have taught me a lot about transitioning and adapting and changing. And my experiences throughout my whole life have taught me how to do that, and I'm still learning how to improve upon that process. So I'm just really excited to be here, to be your co-host and be on this journey with you all. If there's anything you would like to know more about either Chiara or I, you can find us on Instagram at Ripple Effect Pod. That's affect with an A, and drop us a DM there. And we're open books. We want to share with you, and more than anything, share helpful information that can move the needle in your lives, or help you feel better, or help you get through what you're going through, or just know that you're not alone with whatever you're going through.
I love it so much. And with that, we want to just give you a brief introduction to what you can expect structurally from the podcast. We're going to do things a little different. We're going to bring you 3 different types of episodes. The first one is what we lovingly call kitchen table talks, which is just that. me and Issa sitting around our kitchen
Chopping
table,
broccoli.
not chopping broccoli.
We're chopping broccoli.
That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get Issa doing weird
Delirious
shit.
hour. Kiana made me record this at like 8 p.m.
Hey,
It's like
there's
my
no
witching
maid.
hour.
There's no maid in
There
this.
wasn't a maid, but you know.
Kitchen table talks. They will be us talking to each other with this kind of banter and all kinds of lovely ideas that hopefully spawn topics and ideas for future episodes. So they are a type of conversational episode that we're just going to let fly, but absolutely you'll get to know that we bring a lot of research and interesting resources to our conversations. And that's going to be really fun for us to do. And we're really excited to share those with you.
The next type of episode that we have for you is what we're calling our sofa series. And these are going to be interviews with great minds, people that have helped us on our journey of change, people that are experts in the areas that we're most fascinated about when it comes to change, and people that we think will add value to your lives and ours.
And the last type of episode will be a little bit shorter. Those first two we're shooting for an hour, so you can expect a little bit of edits, but mostly just trying to keep things, digestible. An hour car ride or an hour walk. The third type is called our tactical bites, and that's going to be a little bit shorter, 20 minutes. Think of like a TED Talk. And Issa does a great job describing these.
Yeah, the tacticals are actionable information. Conversations are very powerful, but they aren't always integratable. And so we wanted to give you shorter episodes that give you actionable advice or in-depth information about one specific subject. We want to give you information that can be actionable in your own life and that can be integrated into your process. So these are going to be episodes that are focused on concepts that can move the needle.
And so those will cycle through. You'll get to hear a kitchen table talk sitting around the kitchen table with us. You'll get to hear a sofa series where we'll interview a guest and hopefully gain insight and wisdom from them. And our tactical bites are going to be from either Issa or myself. And you'll get a one-off of what we're interested in and what we want to bring to help you. We're going to release one episode a week on Tuesday. So expect new releases every Tuesday.
Just to be clear, you're going to get one of those every week, not all three. So we're going to be launching 3 episodes to start. So you who are listening before launch, you'll be having 3 episodes that you can binge. Those listening after launch will be getting 1 episode a week, and it will either be a kitchen table talk, a sofa series, or a tactical bite. New episodes every Tuesday means a lot of behind the scenes work for us, from editing to concepts to finding guests to getting these episodes on the air is a lot of work. So eventually you will be hearing advertisers from us. And if you're interested in partnering with us and being one of those advertisers, you can reach out to us in our link on Instagram and fill out our form and we can talk further.
Okay, so in our efforts to keep this as a trailer and pretty succinct, we definitely sound like we're taking ourselves really seriously. But one of our main goals with this also is to have a brevity. We both understand that change does come from a lightheartedness, from play, from being able to laugh at ourselves, laugh with each other, and just to not take it all too seriously. So we hope that you'll come along for the ride with us, enjoy, poke fun at us, but feedback is so huge to us. Honestly, your DMs, your emails will mean everything because it's how we're going to make it better and how we're going to do this together. Our intention is to change the world, and it is starting with ourselves, but really it's starting with all of you. So thanks for listening.
Community is definitely important to us and we want to build it with you. And changing the world is a huge mission. And we want to make sure to be clear that we want to build community, not a cult. So that just needs to be said. Because I feel like every cult starts with the same mission of changing the world for the better. And we are not that.
Please subscribe to this pod.
No, don't subscribe.
No. What?
Let's do the reverse psychology.
No.
Don't subscribe to this podcast.
Oh my God, that's not going to work.
Don't do it. Don't do it, dickhead. I'm serious.
Okay.
Don't do it.
Stop. Okay, with that, subscribe wherever you're listening from and follow us on this weekly journey. We're really excited to partner with you in this exploration of change.
Thank you for listening to this trailer. We hope that you have a better idea of what's to come. And we're super grateful that you're here with us. And we're really excited to be on this journey together. It's going to be a wild ride. It's not going to be easy all the time, but we want you to know that we're here for you. Signing off, Cheech and Nibby.
Take care.